as you may know, I've been a big fan of the main works of some of the great stuff that animation giant Hanna-Barbera put out. Now, I've seen lots of them. I may have missed a few of them. But of course, there's this one series they did. I didn't get to see, didn't get the chance to watch a lot of, and what have you. Even though, despite its short stay, but I managed to get into some of it, and I really have been enjoying it. It's one of the main shows that try to follow in the footsteps of The Simpsons and have failed, and what have you. It's about these little guys that live right around where the White House is. So today on Do You Remember, I am going to talk about Capital Critters. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Do You Remember? Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you, and this is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Back with another episode. Do you remember? This time around, it's a fan requested episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very underrated and short lived animated series from the animation giant of Hanna-Barbera. And I gotta tell you, this was one I just didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of, even despite its short stay. Nor did I get to see the reruns either. Anyway, and it was produced along with the studios that gave us Doogie Howser MD. Yes, really something. But anyway, this is when the story of a mouse from Nebraska who escapes from danger and ends up with, well, staying with his cousin and many other characters right around where the White House in Washington, D.C. is. So now I ask you, do you remember Capital Critters? Capital Critters was an animated sitcom originally produced by Stephen Bochco Productions along with Hanna-Barbera, produced in association with Fox. The show originally premiered on ABC as a mid-season replacement in January of 1992 and only lasted until March of that same year, but did get its later episode, well, its unaired episodes reran later, which I'll talk about later in the vid, of course. Well, it's not going to be easy to talk about, but anyway, the show is about the lives of mice, rats, and roaches who reside in the basement and walls of the White House in Washington, D.C. Now, this series was part of a spate of attempts by major networks to develop primetime animated shows to compete with the success of Fox's The Simpsons. Alongside Fish Police, which was also from Hanna-Barbera that aired on CBS, and the same network's Family Dog. But they proved unsuccessful and were canceled instantly. Capital Critters starts out with a young mouse named Max who is forced to flee from his home on a farm in Nebraska after his family had been killed by exterminators. He travels to Washington, D.C. to live with his hippie cousin, Berkeley, along with rebellious rat Janet and his mother, Trixie. Max also befriends a hip cockroach named Mose, M-O-Z-E, and a former laboratory rat named Muggle, who still suffers from the side effects of the experiments he is put through that often have him exploding. Now, the group has to deal with the White House's resident cats, which are caricatures of then President George H.W. Bush and Vice President Dan Quayle. The episode's themes reference current issues of the day, such as gun control and drug abuse. Well, in its short run, the series dealt with, well, not just the ones that I mentioned, but also politics, racial segregation, drug addiction, and even mortality. Now, I've watched four episodes so far because as a kid, I can't remember seeing much of the show, just the previews. I might have seen maybe one or two episodes, but that was a long time ago. Brian Lowry wrote in Variety saying, at its best, the show seems to ape the work of film director Ralph Bakshi by using an animated setting to explore adult themes, and that the bland central character and cartoonish elements will likely be off-putting to many adults who won't find the political satire biting enough to merit their continued attention. Similarly, kids probably won't be as smitten with the cartoon aspects or look. Nevertheless, the series was canceled after less than 2 months. However, they did get their own toys from the Burger King Kids Club in 1992, which featured Jamet, Max Muggle, and presidential cat stand on or emerging from a miniature Washington D.C. monuments. Yes, ABC ended the show about yet after 7 of its 13 episodes that were produced and aired. After that, the show was never seen again until 1995 when the show returned, when Cartoon Network got the series in September of 1995, where they aired the remaining 6 episodes. They aired the first 3 episodes, 8 through 10, in September of 95, and then the following year, the remaining 3 episodes, 11 through 13. Unfortunately, I failed to catch this because they had ended the show when I first got Satellite, and unfortunately, that series was no more, and it has never been seen again, not even on physical media or anything. So this is a really difficult to find series, but is it difficult? Difficult? Well, not exactly. Despite being held under the rights by 20th Television, which of course, you know the story, okay? Excuse me. I will say that you can find the full series on YouTube. But all, yeah, a few YouTuber, well, one YouTuber has all 13 episodes. So now you know. Now, and for our cast, we got a pretty big all-star cast of voice acting. Voicing Max is none other than Doogie Howser MD himself, Neil Patrick Harris. I must say he does a good job, especially outside from where in which Stephen Bochco Productions, who of course was which of course this was the studio behind his hit series Doogie Howser MD. That studio also had recently done shows like Hill Street Blues, L.A. Law, and the short-lived Cop Rock, which was also a recent short-lived show on ABC. And this was still just before the network even had a monster hit with NYPD Blue. Now, and for the rest of the cast, voicing Jamet is Charlie Adler, who recently lent his voice to various cartoons, including Brave Star, Hanna-Barbera's Paddington Bears series, as well as Buster Bunny on Tiny Toon Adventures. He also went on to do the voices of the titular characters of a future Cartoon Network show, that being Cow and Chicken. Voicing Trixie is Patty Dooch, who most people would know her best for appearing on game shows in the 70s like Match Game and Telltales. Now, she's also done some voice acting as well. She had recently voiced the character of Lucy 2 in Jetsons the movie. And she later went on to do voice acting in by doing linear voice to cartoons like The Wild Thornberrys, As Told by Ginger, and the 2003 animated series of The Berenstain Bears. She also lent her voice to other films such as the seventh Land Before Time film, Disney's Tarzan, The Emperor's New Groove, which she also lent her voices to her character of the lunch lady in its animated spin-off, The Emperor's New School. And she was also lent her voice to the follow-up film, Kronk's New Groove. And that's that. I say that character was pretty good. Voicing the character of Berkeley is Jennifer Darling, who most people would know her from numerous things. She was recently Peggy Callahan on The $6 Million Man, as well as The Bionic Woman. Now, of course, she recently lent her voice to several cartoons already, including Dink the Little Dinosaur, Centurions, Foofer, and Trollkins, and the Biscuits. At the time, she was still voicing Irma on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I gotta say that character's pretty good. Voicing Mose is the late great Dorian Harewood, who has certainly done numerous films and what have you. Let's see. He had been an alternate voice for Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as lent his voice to other shows, including a pup named Scooby Doo, The Legend of Prince Valiant, Goof Troop, which actually would come to later that same year, as well as Mighty Max, Biker Mice from Mars, the 90s Iron Man series. Oh, the list goes on for this guy. Voicing Muggle is Bobcat Goldthwait, who recently appeared on the cult classic film I talked about. Well, I consider it a cult classic, Hot to Trot. He also played Zed in the Police Academy franchise, and also as Elliot Loudermilk in Scrooged. And he also did lots of other films. But boy, let me tell you, there's so many to mention and what have you. Well, he did work on some other cartoons, including Eek the Cat, Duckman, even Beavis and Butthead. Well, anyway, now, and finally, voice guy Frank Welker lends his vocal effects to the presidential cats. Now, there were additional voices and what have you. Among some of them included Louis Arquette, Michael Bell, Greg Berger, Earl Bowen, Sorrel Book, and of course, you know him, Boss Hogg of the Dukes of Hazzard fame, Hamilton Camp, Brian Cummings, and Jim Cummings, Tim Curry, yeah, you know that name pretty well, I bet. The late great Linda Gary, Joan Gerber, Ed Gilbert, Dan Gilvezan. You may know the voice of Bumblebee from the original Transformers series. Helen Hunt, even one of them. Jazz Kawai, who was voicing Guy on Captain Planet. Let's see, Scott Menville, Rob Paulson, see Robert Ridgely, Neil Ross, Pamela Segal, not well, maybe not Segal, but Siegel, or well, I can't really think. I don't think it's Segal. It's Siegel or what have you. I know this chick from Grease too, and she also appeared in a little bit of The Facts of Life as well. Rusty Taylor, Jeffrey Tambor, B.J. Ward, and Bill Woodson. Oh yeah, and Patrick Zimmerman. Yes, who actually recently did the voice for Elroy in Jetsons the movie after the death of Dawes Butler. So, Capital Cruise, I feel like it's probably one of the most forgotten tunes of the 90s and pretty underrated and what have you. But as I've said, you'll have no trouble finding this show. Look it up on YouTube and you won't be disappointed. You'll be able to find this in no time. Here's a look at some of the characters with a little bit of the title card. Here's a look at most of the actually the main characters you're going to get to see and what have you. Yeah, they're a pretty funny group once you get to know them and check them out. But anyway, like I said, I think YouTube's your best chance to find Capital Critters if you really want to revisit this series, or if you would like to maybe see this for the first time ever and what have you, like I am. Because I failed to see much of this and what have you, even once ABC had dropped this. So anyway, yeah, I think YouTube's your best chance to catch this series. So look into this and what have you. You might have a blast with it, or you may not. It's up to you. You might enjoy it. But anyway, I've watched the first 4 episodes and I'm starting to like it. Now I will be watching the rest of the series though. Okay, so that's gonna do it. That's it for Cat Bill Careers. What did you think of this series? Did you ever watch Cat Bill Careers? Did you watch it before ABC canceled it, or did you get to see it on Cartoon Network? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel. Get them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you like. Join me next time when I give you mini reviews of a couple of recent films. Yes, the first of a couple of mini reviews vids coming up, okay? So that's going to do it. And if you like this, check out the Saturday morning TV logs, some Saturday morning TV logs and why have you, well, or maybe some reviews for other critter tunes actually involving mice. Here's 2 movies I'll recommend and one Saturday morning TV log. That would do all right. And that's for An American Tail. Check out my review of the classic from 1986 itself, An American Tail, in the upper left hand corner. In the upper right hand corner is my review of its sequel, An American Tail 2, 5, well, which is the, well, I said 2, it's the second one, An American Tail 5 Goes West. Or go to the bottom left hand corner and see my Saturday morning TV log for the continuation TV series to that, Fievel's American Tales. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as Do You Remember? Then I'm your guide. Thanks for watching, and we will have another Do You Remember coming up later in the month with Shusha. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.